It used to be the Gaylord Entertainment Center. It is now the Sommet Center. The Hurricanes and the Predators wrapping up their preseason home-and-home stint with a game here tonight, and it's time once again for you to take center stage. And once again, for the 10th straight season, we'll have our second intermission consisting of your questions, whatever they may be, about the game of hockey. Just send your question along with your full name and where you're emailing from to Chuck K at CarolinaHurricanes.com. That's Chuck and the letter K at CarolinaHurricanes.com. And whether you're a veteran follower of the game or you're getting into hockey for the first time and you've got some questions for me, don't be shy. Send them along through the email route, as always, and we'll answer it here in the forum in the second intermission. We may even do it in Maple Leaf Gardens or the old Boston Garden if they were still around, and we will do that for you on a future second intermission. All you have to do, again, is email me to Chuck K at CarolinaHurricanes.com. You can also go to the Hurricanes website, as it comes to mind, and click on the Kaiton's Corner icon on the new and improved CarolinaHurricanes.com. Just scroll down to multimedia, click on Chuck Kaiton, and you will see a place where you can email me a question there. As Sue Wilson of Wilmington, North Carolina has, and Sue's got a couple of questions, a little double-barrel action here. She wants to know about some of the new rules in the NHL. It seems like the NHL is always changing something each and every season. What are the changes? And again, please describe the no-play zone as you describe it for the goaltenders behind each net. Well, first of all, we'll go with some of the new rules. They are not major. There's one subtle rule that I think could be a key rule as the season goes on, and that is where face-offs will be determined. It used to be whenever the puck was shot into the crowd and whatever angle you were at and wherever you were on the ice determined where the face-off would be. For example, if you were at the rim of the circle in your own zone and a puck deflected out of play, the face-off would stay in your end, say equidistant between the blue line and your circle. Now it's going to be relegated to the face-off dot closest to where that puck went out of play. And what I'm thinking now, and I'm trying to get clarification on this, if the puck is inside the blue line, the face-off will stay in the face-off circle in either end. And that's a big thing because you'll be forced as the defensive team to win a face-off, whereas if the old days, you always want to win a face-off naturally, but if it's deep in your own end, it's much more important than if it comes out near the blue line. But instead now, all the face-offs will be at the dots that you see, the two face-off circle dots, the four dots out in the neutral zone for basically the offsides outside the blue lines, and so all 8 of those dots, including the center ice area, circle 2, will be the only places that you can face the puck off. Now that's probably the only quasi-significant rule change. One other one, though, and it was called in a game with the Predators last week against Columbus. Martin Erat leveled David Verborny in a game in Columbus last Sunday, and he picked up a major for interference, a 5-minute penalty. You can now pick up a major penalty for interference. It used to be that major penalties came for charging or boarding or high sticking, but now you can, and I think this was precipitated, as I mentioned, on Sunday against Washington in our first broadcast, maybe precipitated by Anaheim's Chris Pronger hit in the playoffs against Detroit's Tomas Holmstrom, where he only got a minor penalty, but he injured Holmstrom, stepped into him, got an interference penalty, then subsequently got suspended for a couple of games for it. So now there is such a thing as a major for interference. Now, the ironic thing about that Nashville situation is that the Predators ended up scoring 2 shorthanded goals, even though Erat took the penalty, and Columbus ended up losing the game. Nashville scoring 2 shorthanded goals on their 5-minute disadvantage. But 5 minutes for interference now can be called. Also, there are no more gross misconducts. This is just a little rule book cleanup more than anything else. It used to be that a gross misconduct would be given to a player, for example, yelling at an official, maybe shoving an official, doing something to earn a further suspension and fine. They basically have said the term gross misconduct has now been stricken from the record. It's now a game misconduct, and of course you know the game misconduct rule, Sue. If you get 2, the third one gives you a game suspension. So if you accrue 3 game misconducts, you get 1 game suspension. 4th game misconduct in any season gives you a 2-game suspension, and it arithmetically increases that way. And also, the one other key rule change, and I don't know how much you're going to see this, is that now you can call a penalty shot anywhere on the ice. It doesn't have to be a player in the attacking zone being defined by anything from the center line in to the attacking zone. In other words, if you've got a breakaway and you're coming out of your own end and there's nobody between you and a goaltender and you're fouled from behind and a referee determines a penalty shot can be called, it can be now called in any zone. And as I said a couple games ago, if your defense is so far up the ice that everybody gets caught that way when the other player going up the ice is still in his own defensive end, as determined by the center line, you're in a little bit of trouble. But now penalty shots can be called by officials, and it doesn't have to be a player on a breakaway after he has passed the center red line. So those are your changes in the rules, and we thank you very much, Sue Wilson of Wilmington, for your question here tonight in Kaiton's Corner. We'll do it again Tuesday. Hurricanes move to Washington to wrap up their preseason with the Capitals after the exciting 4-3 come-from-behind win to start it off a week ago Sunday. So it'll be the Caps and the Canes coming up Tuesday from Verizon Center. We'll have another edition of Kaiton's Corner. Then remember to email me to Chuck K at CarolinaHurricanes.com. That's Chuck and the letter K at CarolinaHurricanes.com. Always provide us with your full name and where you're emailing from and any good question about hockey, and we'll answer it for you in a future second intermission all season long here in Kaiton's Corner. I'm Chuck Kaiton.
Game on!
Yeah, game on!